Also claims
Woo. 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 Ooh, that one's better. I can do that one better. Woo. 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 Woo.
It's like a owl
Woo.
over there. It's fucking ridiculous. This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned in to episode 34 of The Real Word. Word is up.
Word up.
So we got part 2 last week. If you missed 33, go back and check out the independent contractor introduction to this. I mean, it might be a trilogy. It might be a 3-part series.
I'm going to keep track of how much you talk.
You're going to keep track of how much I talk? What do you mean, the time? Does he have it timed over there? Are you timing me, Sam?
No, but it's fun because you get to see, you can see your movements, then you can see
Yeah.
like mine, and then like when I talk, it
You'd
starts
rather me
moving.
do all the talking anyways today.
No, I'm great. This
You
is good.
feeling energized?
Feel lovely.
So this is part 2. What
Yes.
we did was we asked for your feedback. We got some of your feedback. We're going to talk about some of that. We have some comments, some inboxes. We're going to talk about that.
And then we'll give our opinions next week.
No. Oh, you want to do it next week?
Yeah, we said you just
Oh,
didn't you
you're
just
going to drag this thing on
didn't
a
you
little
just
bit
say it was
more?
going to be a
Okay.
3-parter, a trilogy
All right, we can give our opinions
next week.
next week. So
Yeah.
let's start with a couple comments on YouTube I've got highlighted here. One of them coming from a state of Texas
Yeah.
real estate agent. And
He really,
Matthew, my man.
you committed to this
Yeah.
response.
This is-
I mean,
This is lengthy, bro.
He
These
mu-
are called YouTube comments. No, he copy and pasted the rules, which I appreciated. I do appreciate that, Matthew, because there's a lot of good info here.
I wonder though, so I do want to ask Matthew though, like if you read the it's the ABCs of independent contractors?
The ABC.
Because I still feel like we're
test.
missing some of the responses to the ABC test.
We're 100% not attorneys, so
No.
What he's stating here is coming somewhere from the state of Texas, I'm
Right,
assuming,
right.
and he's talking about Texas. He's basically boiling it down to this. In Texas, if you set your own schedule, you're an independent contractor. So if somebody's not setting your schedule, you're not an employee.
So weird, isn't it? That seems weird.
Right. And
Seems like
if you go, he's got 20 bullet points here. So if you go on YouTube and you go to Real Word episode 33, you'll see Matthew's comment.
yeah.
And
Byron loves reading too. It's like probably his favorite thing to do.
once I get glasses, it'll be my favorite thing to do.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Are
absolutely.
you blaming the glasses?
I am blaming for my lack of attention span. Someone said that's not your eyes, dude. That's ADD. Right? Or whatever they
I was
call
going
that.
to say.
Um,
I don't think it has anything to do with glasses. I
Yeah.
mean, Sam's got glasses. Sam, how do you feel? You feel like you're like attentive?
I don't think that's to do with the glasses.
You wouldn't stay with the glasses?
No,
Here's
it's just-
now we're
does that have to do
diverting
with-
totally off of this
I'm sorry. Well,
topic.
that's because you were like
No,
looking
but I
over the
wanna-
bullets.
I want to say this. Like,
Go
so
ahead.
Sam, you really need those glasses, right?
Yeah.
Right. There are people that are wearing those same framed glasses that you have.
Yeah.
You know, the black frame, the common
Oh,
black
that
frame.
are nothing?
You can pop some on my eyes right now if you want to.
Yeah.
That don't need them.
Yeah.
So it's the trendy thing to do. And of course, if I, so 7 years ago, I was told I need glasses. I
So
didn't go and get them.
Did you not get them because you thought they were trendy?
Now I don't want to go back. So I'm like, if I get the glasses, you're going to say, oh, he's just trying to be trendy. He doesn't even need them. That would be the first thought in people's mind.
I think you think that people think too much about you. That's a little. I mean,
No, not
I remember
about me.
my mom used to yell at me all the time because I would write my name on like napkins in like the kitchen. She's like, Nicole, I've never met anybody so self-centered in my life. I feel like I've met my match.
No, not about me. Because I think about this when I see people with glasses. Sometimes I'm like, fucker's trying to be trendy over there.
No, but
100%.
God forbid the guy just wants to see.
All right,
mean,
back
no?
to employee status here.
Okay.
All right, so number 7 on his list, an employee must work on call or during hours and days as set by the employee. A true independent contractor is the master of his or own time and works the days and hours he or she
Wait, that was a bullet
chooses.
point? Are you sure he didn't type that? I can't imagine that he copy and pasted like the master. That's like written in like the law book. Like they use the word master.
Dude, he's got 20 bullet points
I mean,
here. He's not
you-
sourcing actually where it's coming from.
Yeah. I mean,
But
careful. Maybe you
all right,
should read it first before you start just
So
like,
to sum it all up, I have not gotten a message from any real estate agent yet. This is a small sample size. By the
super
way,
small sample size.
that doesn't believe they're an independent contractor David here comments, nice job. The agents that work for S3 Living, which I have no idea what that is, are independent contractors. But to borrow from you guys, it may be a racket. So actually, maybe he's questioning a little bit there.
Well, we all are. I mean, that was really what came of that article, is because I think we all think we're independent contractors because we sign independent contractor forms. But when you start going over this ABC test that was given, it's super contradictory, and it's
and that's the reason why he's
crazy
saying,
things are happening.
Okay, this may be a racket. And so I'll kind of give you a little bit of a start of my opinion, right? And I think that there are certainly brokerage shops in this country that 100% have agents that are independent contractors.
Right.
But I also think that when there's emails going out in an office saying somebody has to pick up floor, you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position, managers or brokers or whoever, right? In everybody's that's watching this is seeing that email.
I'm pretty I don't know that they ever say someone has to. It's more like somebody better.
But like, how the emails increase over time if nobody's responded. It's like, no, really, we need floor coverage.
Really. And in all honesty, too, if you're getting those emails, just don't reply all.
Just delete them.
Well, that too.
No, I mean, so.
I don't need the follow-up email that you're going to be there.
We're about to get into our rackets, but floor time is the biggest racket. And so I think if the brokerage has, these types of systems in place, then they're walking a tight line because that's when you're really starting to put people in a schedule, in a place,
right?
To report at
well,
a certain
especially
time.
if the number one, because a lot of these people are saying that the number one thing that makes them an independent contractor is the fact that you can do your schedule, right? And I mean, you're the master of your own calendar, and I mean, to have floor duty from 9 to 12 or 12 to 3 is like. Yeah, and you are not the master of your calendar.
On Instagram, Jacob Hunter, fan of the show, what's up? And he's from California. He kind of chimed in the same thing on the DM. He said same thing as the first guy from Texas, that California, the test is essentially, does your employer set your schedule?
Yeah.
So they're really tied up on the schedule thing. We're going to give you our opinion on part 3
next week.
So you've got to, but you still got time. Love to hear your opinion.
Yeah,
we got great feedback from you guys.
I'd almost really like to, and I'm certain there's probably not many attorneys that are just sort of sitting around like waiting to watch the racket, but I would love to hear their opinion on it too. Maybe it'll help us form ours, because I'm really starting to question maybe whether we are independent contractors.
Well, next week you'll get to share what you think.
Oh boy.
Racket number 1.
Ready?
Warren Buffett, the dude who owns one of the biggest brokerages in the country, can't sell his California house. He's had it listed since February of 2017 for $11 million. Hasn't budged on the price once.
No. Talk about digging your heels in, eh?
Is this a racket?
Such a racket.
Yeah?
Bless your heart there, Warren.
Why do you think
Why don't you give us a holler? Well, obviously he's overpriced. It sounds like everyone keeps telling him that, but
this house is in Laguna Beach.
It's because he doesn't have cheap.
Picked it up for $150,000
years
in 1971. So what's Warren Buffett's number one rule?
You didn't hire the right marketing staff, right?
Yeah, well, he hired Berkshire Hathaway, his company, I'm sure.
Well, that's the problem.
Whoa. Here we go. Getting a little crazy on the real word.
Gotta.
He clearly isn't going to lose money on this deal.
No.
He bought it for $150,000, and his number one rule in investing is never lose money.
So after reading the article a little bit, it does talk about the fact that his late wife actually sort of talked him into purchasing this property. So I'm assuming he's a little.
Ooh, you think he's an emotional seller?
He's a little romantic, as you like to call him. I think there's a little bit of an attachment there, which I don't blame him. I mean, I still live in the house that I grew up in.
You know why this isn't a racket?
Why?
Because he's Warren freaking Buffett, dude.
Well,
he doesn't have to sell this house. He doesn't care if it sells or not.
I think you're a racket.
He's gonna leave it at $11 million, and someone's willing to negotiate. He'll sell at a fair price. If the dude needed to sell, and you were sitting on the market, because we deal with sellers at times that are like, I have to sell this property. Great, dude. You've been on the market for a year. Let's lower the price of this. Oh, but I am not lowering the price.
Right.
That's a racket. This dude's a baller.
He's a baller.
This ain't a racket, dude. He's Warren freaking Buffett.
All right. Well.
All right.
I think it's a racket.
This is This is a big time racket.
This is
Racket number 2.
It's an interesting one. I feel like that should be a main topic. We could probably turn this racket into a main topic.
This really should have been the main topic.
It really should have been the main topic. Should we start over again?
No, just keep going.
Okay.
Keep going. I know you want to take a nap, but we
I
can
don't.
keep going.
I'm fine.
Racket number 2.
I just can't figure out which camera to look at.
Lawsuit accuses Westchester real estate
I keep looking at the
firm
wrong one.
of conflict of interest in home sales.
Yes.
So this is a Wall Street Journal article. So if you're not a subscriber, I don't know how Nicole squeaked through the little subscription barrier today, but she got in there.
I think Wall Street Journal felt bad for me. They keep hearing me say that I can't get onto Inman, so they're like, "Here, Nicole, we'll throw you a freebie article."
So we're gonna link this up as we always do. All these topics we talk about, we link up whether you're on YouTube or wherever you're watching or listening to this. You can find these articles that we're referencing. And so the suit here is in Westchester's,
Close.
a couple hours from here.
Super close.
The suit's taking on an issue known as dual agency. If you're watching the show, you probably know what dual agency is. It may be illegal in your particular state that you work in. There's a reason dual agency is illegal.
Clearly. I mean, there's super gray. There's super gray lines here.
So
I texted you the paragraph you wanted.
I definitely want to read these stats. So Houlihan Lawrence, who actually got bought out by Berkshire Hathaway. They're a big time firm in that part of the world in Westchester County, which is just north of Manhattan, suburb for Manhattan. A lot of people that work in the city.
Look at all your lines.
There, right?
Look at all your lines. You have so many lines.
Yeah, I'm doing a lot of talking here. I'm trying to carry the ship.
You're carrying it. Must be because you hang out.
So here's the deal. Can I get through the 2 paragraphs?
Of course.
You don't mind? Do you want to read them?
No.
You just want to see me struggle? Look how small that is.
Well, first of all, click it.
Oh,
there it is.
Technology 101 with Nicole White. The lawsuit claims that last year Houlihan Lawrence represented both the buyer and seller in 9 out of 10 of Houlihan Lawrence's biggest home sales in Westchester County. Dude, they represented both sides in 9 of 10 of the biggest home sales in Westchester County. A sales total volume of more than $47 million. In Bronxville, 48 out of 75 Houlihan sales were dual agency.
So almost like
that's
2/3.
That's the whole deal of Bronxville. 48 of 75 were Houlihan sales.
It's an interesting thing, though, because, I mean, even here in Connecticut, there's so many times that buyers come directly to the listing agents because they think they'll get a better deal that way.
Including 80% of all deals for $2 million or more. Now, you can start to say that this is a racket and that they're running some type of monopoly. And the lawsuit gets into a situation that just happened, a deal that just closed in Westchester, where the buyer felt that the information, so that the agent she was dealing with was actually the brother of the listing agent. It was a real estate team, and she's claiming that she was never told that they were not only related, but under the this dual agency situation, the same team. So that's when the lawsuit kicked in, and now it's really a bigger lawsuit, and they're going after commissions all the way back to 2011, claiming that Houlihan Lawrence practices and teaches their agents to get dual agency on their listings, right? So to get
like they give them like some sort of incentive if they sell an in-house listing.
They said like the forms, the standard board forms, were already checked yes for dual agency, as opposed to letting the buyer check them. They were already pre-checked for them when they gave them. It was in the article.
Yeah, but we check things like that all the time too. Like I'll pre-check.
No, like scanned, already checked. Like instead of like giving the buyer the empty sheet and them checking the box when they sign it, it was already checked for them.
But don't you have to like sign a dual agency form? I mean, it's a whole separate addendum.
That was the standard board form they were talking about. That they were checking yes to dual agency.
But then the people were signing it.
And then the people signed off on it.
Yeah, so
listen, if you explain dual agency, and in Connecticut, dual agency is allowed. You basically explain it like for instance, we work for William Ravis Real Estate, right? If you do not want to do dual agency, that's fine. There are over 4,000 William Ravis agents.
No,
right?
But no, you can't. You can't use anybody at William Ravis then if you don't want to do dual agency.
No, that's my point. Is okay if you don't want to do agency, it's fine. But you are now, if any of these agents have a buyer, there's and you don't want to do dual agency, you're going to have an issue there, right?
Right.
So you're kind of and they have, for instance, Ravis in Connecticut has #1 market share of the state.
Right.
So a seller's not going to want to do that. So in Connecticut, where a state where dual agency is legal, a seller almost has to agree to do dual agency because it literally is in their best interest if they want to maximize their buyer pool. There's a lot of sellers that have a problem with it
Well,
because
this is the buyer that's having a problem with it.
there's a lot of buyers that have a problem with
Yeah.
it and sellers. The buyer has a problem with it because she was pressured into pay a higher price. She felt this is all.
Well, she said that the agent said that she
allegedly.
needs to put in an offer over asking price because there's an offer over. Oh, you were accused of that one time too, remember?
Yes, that was not
the same
legit,
thing, but yeah.
Because it wasn't a dual agency situation.
It was not a
She's
dual
like, you're
agency
driving the price up. I'm like, yeah, I am, dude. I've got 3 offers and they're all competing. And
But
I
your
am
seller
driving
also
the price
authorized you to say that you had an offer.
100%.
Yeah.
Now, when you get into a dual agency situation, you are more relaying information between the two parties.
Right.
So if what they're claiming is true, then yeah, these particular agents at Houlihan have an issue on their hands.
Right.
If they're not true, then it's a different ballgame. But what I think is not a racket is the fact that Houlihan Lawrence has outstanding numbers. There's an agent in the next town over from us who typically is on 3 out of 4 sides of $1 million+ deal in that town. There's not a lot. There's not a lot of $1 million+ deals, but she's on 3 of the 4 sides. She happens to be friends with a lot of that clientele.
Right.
Hats off to her. I think she's doing an amazing job.
People know to go to her.
Absolutely. And I don't think that there's anything unusual, even though she's on 75% of the transactions. There's nothing unusual about it. She's a rock star.
She is.
And so Houlihan, I already know for a fact they've been in that part of the world. They've been very aggressive in who they recruit. They have a lot of rock stars. So it's not necessarily a racket that they're doing and putting up big numbers.
Right.
What would be a racket is, and what we do a lot is we designate somebody on our team. We do designated agency, which is a form of dual. One agent's going to talk to one party, one agent's going to talk to the other party. I do think dual agency, unless you have a super rare agent, somebody that's talking to absolutely both sides, that can become a little bit of a racket, in my opinion. I always go designated.
Interesting.
Personally.
I just did dual.
Yeah, I'm not saying across the board 100%. I'm just saying it can get tricky.
Well, right. I mean, I think you just have to be super clear. Like, I'm really just giving the buyer information. I'm just really giving the seller
You can't even
information.
negotiate. You are not allowed to negotiate as a dual agent. You cannot advise the seller.
No, you can't advise them. You can't advise. You can't even pull comps.
Right.
Really.
So
You're just
all you're
literally
doing-
just yes.
And so my point is, when all you're doing is relaying information, well, and this is why I don't love dual agency, because as technology catches up, technology could be the dual agent. Why would you need an agent to do that? Why would you need an agent to relay information if they're not even able to strategize, negotiate, pull comps? Dual agents should be a robot.
Wow.
Anything that doesn't have strategy behind it, that's just literally relaying.
I feel like you're saying a lot of things. Like, there's a lot happening here.
Meaning, what is the value of a real estate agent, a human being in dual agency, if you cannot do any of those things?
Well, I mean, there's more roles than just that. I mean,
There's not. All
there
you can do is relay information. As a dual
I
agent.
understand, but I'm saying after the fact, after they've come together. I mean, I've had multiple dual agent situations where the buyer just comes in willing to pay full price, just submit it, cool, awesome. Like, but then there's so many things after that.
Well,
though,
maybe
too.
you're doing white glove service on top
like,
of it, where
yeah,
you're
like you're helping,
coordinating.
like,
You need all the utility information.
yeah,
you
like
need
there's
that,
all
you need
that.
this,
You know, like
that,
here's an
that.
attorney's name. You know, especially if they're not local, or you're going through the home inspection and like you're sort of going through the things that are just like maintenance issues. Like there's you're hugging them because they're really sad.
Oh.
Like there's so much like there's so many
Pay me 6% to give out some hugs. I'll be doing it all day long. Be hugging you up. Come on now.
Oh, all right.
Let's hug it out.
So
You wanna hug it out?
Byron doesn't like dual agency.
No, not that I don't like it. I think it's super vulnerable with technology, because to be a great dual agent, you are facilitating to some degree. You are just handing information back and forth. But going back to Houlihan, the links in the description.
Well, I don't know. I just
Love your 2
there's
cents
so many
on
things that I
this.
think we could argue on this dual agency thing. Maybe
Dude,
that's why it should be the main topic next
That's why
time.
some states have said, you know what, make it illegal.
It's crazy. But
Because
then, like,
There's a lot of
so
lawsuits.
crazy.
Most real estate lawsuits, are between the two topics we
Because it's
talked
anybody
about,
here. Like,
the
what
independent
if my
contractor-
girlfriend really wanted to, or just somebody would like really wanted to use me, and like they couldn't because we just happened to be buying another Ravis
Just give them the hug for free then.
listing. No, I'm talking about like a separate listing. Like, dual agency goes for all listings under the Ravis umbrella. So now all of a sudden you're not allowing people to pick the agents that they want to use because that other person just happened to pick a Ravis agent before the buyer did. I don't know.
Like if you're going to use another Ravis agent that's not in your team, you're going to go designated. You're going to talk to your people and then.
Right.
Right. But that's still technically dual agency.
Yeah.
All right. Racket number
the third racket.
3.
Yeah. Let's
the
move
third.
on. Sorry, that was a long racket. That's a
Is
racket.
that a racket? How
That's
long
a
it
racket.
was?
That was.
All right, home tours are happening through video calls, whether that's FaceTime, Skype. I guess you could Skype from the phone. You could certainly Zoom from the phone. You could do party time. Party time.
Yes.
You could do
No, it's not called party time, is it? The one
house
that
party.
house party.
Party time.
House party.
You could do house party. You could do this on Snapchat. You could do Instagram Live and bring somebody in and show them the house as well as other people. You had a great idea.
Yeah, I think that we should do like a open house that
But
way.
no, but it wasn't only just open house.
Oh, like they
It
would
was-
schedule a time.
Yeah.
Like Joe goes at 11, and then Cindy goes at 11:15, and like we give tours like of the house. It's a great way to
actually-
get like buyers to come directly to you because that would
Mm-hmm.
that's the way to actually then get.
I think you're onto something. I think I would use a Calendly link
Yeah.
and set it up in 15-minute intervals.
You've done that before. Does that
But it
work? Do
wasn't
people
for
actually?
Oh, the Calendly links work.
You
If you're
did it?
looking to have people schedule as opposed to 10 emails back and
Because you
forth.
were doing that for a little bit. You were doing like
Yeah.
this like frenzy thing on Facebook, like hurry up, get access to my calendar
Yeah.
and book appointments.
Yeah.
I finally went on there too. I just wanted to see. There were a lot of
didn't
openings.
book.
There were a lot of openings.
You want to put a lot of openings. But here's the game, right? So you send out the link. If someone says, hey, let's schedule something in an email, as opposed to the next 6 or 7 emails going back or forth trying to figure out the best time for everyone, you just send out the link. Here's my available times for this week. And then they can click, here's my in-office times, here's my out-of-office times, whatever that may be.
Yeah.
You can set it up. And
You
I
are
think
such a good independent contractor. You're
Yeah.
in charge of your own
I am in charge of my own
calendar.
calendar.
Love it.
Oh, I'm 100% an independent contractor. 100%. Anyway, your idea would be, okay, send out the Calendly link. From Sunday from 10 to 1,
Wow.
you can get a
That's a long stretch.
ahead of the public open house private tour with just me, with Nicole White, on FaceTime. Click the Calendly link and schedule the best time for
Yeah.
you. Because maybe 1 to 3 doesn't work when you're doing the public open house, and
Right.
this 11 to 1 or this
Right.
10 to 1 opportunity
Or maybe
works.
they only want to sort of take a quick tour for 10 minutes before they then come out to the open house. They want to make sure
Right.
that
Maybe they live in New
it's-
York and it's
the
Connecticut.
right move. Or maybe they live in Connecticut and maybe they live next door and they just want to be
It's
nosy.
like, dude, I want to sit in my boxers and check out his
Yes,
house.
that's
I
what
know.
I'm talking
I don't wanna
about.
be-
I bet you that's 99.9% of those people that sign up for
I don't want to
those.
take a shower to come see you guys.
Well, but they will. We'll see them. Like maybe just keep it. If you're in your boxers, just keep it up.
Shoulders and up. Shoulders and up. I think we should test that out.
I think we should. I think it would be awesome.
And I think you just dropped a huge knowledge bomb for everyone. So if they
It would
want
be
to test
awesome.
it out.
I would love to know. Well, maybe some people have already done it. Maybe they
Yeah.
thought of it before me. I'd love to know if it's effective, or
mean,
maybe like what made it effective.
You've
Like
definitely
how
done it
did
with
you?
a buyer, right? Even I've done it with a buyer.
Never.
You've never done that with a buyer?
Nope. I don't think that I
Like
have.
they're in Florida. Oh my gosh, these 3 houses. Like, and you do the FaceTime thing and
No,
you show them houses?
nope, never, never, nope.
Come on.
I think I've done it with an actual being, but like the husband wasn't there or something.
One of
But
them was
I've
there?
never done a tour on my own
Interesting.
that I went around with a phone. No.
Well, we've got this article to link up
I
as
always
well.
go over my data too, so like you wouldn't even necessarily want
Actually,
me to
I don't.
do that.
Can you do FaceTime when you're on yellow? When your battery's on yellow all the time?
My battery's on yellow to save my battery. He makes fun of my yellow. The yellow is genius, by the
You
way.
think it's a
you
strategy?
you went yellow yesterday.
Out of desperation, not of strategy. All right, this article is it's a Realtor Mag. What do you
Got
know?
him.
Nicole picks the Realtor Mag specials.
Always.
We'll link that up as well. Love your 2 cents, and come back for part 3 of the independent contractor conversation next week.
Cool.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Word up.